Hey, hey, hey. It's
All
another
right,
one
it's
day.
Wednesday.
Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This week, we have a special guest, attorney Julie Jones, and she is definitely going to share some information with us. But before I go to Julie, let me not forget about my co host,
You're on the wrong side. You swapped me.
Lisa.
I'm over
Y'all know where she at.
here. Yeah, she know where she is. It's Lisa
Right.
from Next to Mortgage House Money Mama in the hizzy. How y'all doing?
Right, and Deion Branch with EXP Realty. So today, so a few weeks ago, I had a client, and she was trying to sell her mom's house, and so basically, we were looking into her mortgage and find out that she had a reverse mortgage, and so I'm like, okay, well, before we get into reverse mortgages, let me send you to Attorney Jones and let's talk to you about. She can advise you on your mortgage and what we can do. And so we found out some interesting information. And of course, what?
Mhm.
We have to share it with you guys. So, um, a lot of us have parents. We see those guys, they're walking down the street. They might be trying to get your parents to refinance your home. So I have some personal feelings about it, but
They not
Attorney
just
Jones
yours.
says, right, right. But
They not
there's
just
some
yours.
pros and cons to it, right? So I don't want to just go off of my opinion. I want to make sure everybody understands what it is and what it can do. So um, let's talk about what is a reverse mortgage.
Okay, thank you, Dion. I'll just jump right in here. So, good evening, everyone. I had some of those same feelings I'm sure some of you all had about reverse mortgages. I kind of felt like they were like some snake oil salesman people when you see them on television in the middle of the night saying, get a reverse mortgage. So, just like anything I do, I researched it. So, I have my subspecialty in law is elder law. So, I see a lot of reverse mortgages from every
Oh.
side. So, what I will tell you is, as Dion said, there is a purpose for a reverse mortgage. The typical senior who is getting a reverse mortgage, and I work with seniors every day, they are very independent and they don't want to ask you for anything. And they say, oh, my baby, I don't want to ask her for that $5,000 to fix the porch because she's got her own bills and she's doing her own thing. And I need that money to take care of it. So there is a place and a time for a reverse mortgage, but your seniors need to be educated about it. I'll also clue y'all in another secret. Some of these seniors know what they're doing. So the first thing everybody tells me when their senior has a reverse mortgage is, oh, my mom would have never done that if she knew that was the consequences. Oh, my daddy would have never done that. I got a secret for y'all because I got a senior for a mama. They know what they're doing and they did it on purpose. You just don't know what they were doing.
Right.
So, in order for a senior to even qualify for a reverse mortgage, they have to go through pretty extensive education. So, they have to go to a training class and all that stuff. I have sat in. So, let me tell y'all, I was the spy that sat next to the door. So, I
Okay.
wasn't deceptive, but I was basically my senior's companion. The people who were doing a reverse mortgage did not know I was an attorney and have been an attorney for 25 years. I was there with her to
Mhm.
hear how they package the reverse mortgage and what happens with those. So she was very well educated before she decided to make that decision. So let me get to kind of where Dion and I connected and where she said, this is interesting. You need to tell our people. You can keep a home that has a reverse mortgage if you want to keep it. You can sell it, but there are some very strict guidelines regarding reverse mortgages, even more strict than regular mortgages. There is something called an heir payoff. And if a senior's family wants to keep the home after the reverse mortgage, they are required to pay 95% of that home's current appraised value. So the
Mhm.
number one complaint I hear a lot of complaints about reverse mortgages. Hey, I got this notice I saw. They said my mom had a reverse mortgage. They said she got $375,000. There's no way my mom got that much money from those reverse mortgage people. They're lying. Okay, she probably didn't get all of that money, but it doesn't matter how much she got. It matters how much the house appraises at. There is also a very good reason why they make you pay 95% of the appraised value. I know there's a bunch of smart people in the audience today, so you can figure it out. You're not going to get any money from that reverse mortgage home. You're going to get the home. So selling it to someone is not going to help you because most of you all know closing costs are more than 5%. So you would
Right.
literally have to pay to sell that house. Now, if you're going to hold on to the house for a while and the market improves and then you can sell it later, but there is no immediate value you are going to receive from trying to sell a reverse mortgage because it is non-negotiable. You can't talk them down. You can't say I can pay you 80, I can pay you 85. That is the federal guideline to retain a reverse mortgage home. You must pay the reverse mortgage lender 95% of the appraised value. So that's that. It's not tied to how much they borrow. It's tied to how much the house is worth when they pass away. So people who want to retain the home, they certainly can. Also, that 95% is only for you. If you sell it to somebody else, they're going to have to pay the full amount that's due. That is only, it's called an heir payoff. So again, there is some value. Again, there's some value for you take a senior's home, it's getting appraised now. You're going to do some work to it. You're going to hold on to it for a little while. You might use it as an investment property, and then you may sell it later if it, appraises higher. But you're not going to get any advantage to trying to sell it, which was the situation that Dion had immediately upon acquiring the home. You're not going to be able to do that. And the reason for that is simple for the reverse mortgage people. It is kind of like your seniors pre-selling their home. If you look at it that way, they are getting the benefits or the equity out of that home while they're alive to be able to do what they want to do with it, make repairs on the home, give gifts to family members, pay money for kids to go to college, whatever it is they want to do. But the other thing about a reverse mortgage that's interesting is they can't get all the money at once.
So that was going to be my question,
Mhm.
because if they're, going to get this money, if they're going to like basically tax me for this, I can't just pull all the money down at once.
That is correct. There's limits to how much the seniors can take. So there's a limit for the first year of how much money they can take as a lump sum, and then they can take down. It's basically a pot of funds, the equity that their home appraises at, that's sitting over there for them to take from, but they can't take it all at once. So they can take so much the first year and they can take so much in subsequent years.
Okay. And do you know like how normally how long they span across, or is it, say for instance the person is older,
Well, that's kind of what they're banking on. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's why reverse mortgages are only for seniors. Because if
Mhm.
it was me and I was 40, and I'm not 40, but if I was 40 or if I was my current age, which is not 40, and I took a reverse mortgage, the chances are, based on my life expectancy, I would get all of the money because I
Mhm.
would be alive long enough to draw it all down. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just is what it is, that the seniors have to spread it over so many years, and there's got to be an end game for them. And so most of the seniors do not take all the money. I'm sure that's no surprise to you. Most seniors don't just hop out and they're 65 and they get a reverse mortgage. They're 75, they're 80. And so they're not going to get the whole they're not going to get the whole reverse mortgage. But the government has said it doesn't matter if they don't get all of it because we're not making you pay it all back. We're only making you pay back 95% of the appraised value. So I have been involved in some situations with seniors where they had some longevity on their side and they took
Mhm.
the reverse mortgage early enough where they got almost all the money that was due for them from their equity. And so it was fair for their family to have to pay all of that back because they got it all or most.
Okay.
So but it is scaled back. And like I said, if you think about it, reverse mortgages they would not necessarily be palatable to them if every senior got all the money. It's kind of like when you go to the casino. If everybody's winning and everybody's getting all the money that they can get, how is it going to benefit the people who run the casino? So they're banking on, yes, I'm going to pay you and I'm going to pay you, but I'm not going to pay everybody. So the seniors do get money, but if you think about the purpose for a reverse mortgage, it's supposed to allow the senior to be able to stay in their home and be comfortable in their own home for longer. So if I need to get a ramp for my home, if I need to get some air conditioning, if I need to make improvements to my home. So sometimes that does benefit you in the long run if you're going to sell it, because
Yeah.
they've been able to do some things to the home that maybe the senior would not have been able to do without those funds.
Okay.
So all is not lost with a reverse mortgage. If you hear somebody has a reverse mortgage, don't necessarily throw up your hands and go screaming out of the room. But sometimes I know we have some smart people here. I've worked with Dion. She's awesome. I see Lisa J, House Money Mama. I know she's bringing that energy. So I know when you bring energy, you bring creative thoughts. So sometimes you're just going to have to be creative and think out of the box. I'm not going to give up on that reverse mortgage. Maybe you are going to purchase that home for 95%. And maybe that's going to be an investment opportunity for you to keep that property and maybe rent it out for a while, or keep that property and maybe rehab it to make it appraise more so you can sell it later. So you really need, there's no one size fits all in any of this. And you really do need to sit down with a professional and examine what your options are.
Okay. Okay.
Because I would not give up. I have seen several people who want to retain reverse mortgages. And the bit of advice I will give everyone who is listening here is talk to your seniors. I know they're closed mouth. You could be 60 years old and your 80-year-old mom is still going to think you her baby and that she
Yeah.
shouldn't share with you. You can be a professional. Hello, an elder law attorney who your mom tells everybody you're an elder law attorney and you know what to do, but she not going to tell you her business.
Right.
Trust me, I get it. You never recognized in your own home. But talk to your seniors and find out if they have a reverse mortgage, if they're thinking about getting a reverse mortgage, if you even think an inkling of it. Even if you don't think they're thinking about it, if you have a senior who has a home that is paid off, you owe it to yourself to have the conversation with them and just bring it up and say, hey, I was on this Understanding Reverse Mortgages call and this attorney was saying some things, mom or dad. I want to tell you, if you ever think about getting a reverse mortgage, hey, talk to us about it first. Because if
Right.
you just need $5,000 or $10,000, maybe as a family we can pull it together and get you that $5,000 or $10,000 or do something else. And you don't need to strip all of the equity out of your home to do something like that.
So what is the age?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dion.
I was going to say, what is the age for a reverse mortgage? Do you know?
I do not know. I know you have to be a senior. It might just be 65. You
I,
definitely have
Right.
to be
I
a
think
senior.
it's 62.
Okay, yes, some things do consider you 62 as a senior, but you definitely have to be a senior.
Okay.
Yeah. And I apologize. I'm not well versed in reverse mortgages, to be real, transparent and honest. Ask me anything about FHA.
Mhm.
I do a lot
Well,
of that.
most people don't know
But
about reverse mortgages because it's not really much to know. The seniors take care of them, and then most of the time, the family winds up giving up the house.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think 62 is the earliest age, the youngest age that you can be to up for a reverse mortgage. I forgot my question. I was gonna say, so I mean,
Right.
look, I've talked to some people, because obviously as a mortgage broker, it is something I can offer, and I fully agree 100% with you in regards to just it being kind of an individual decision. I've talked to seniors before. They seem, a lot of times people just seem to have a misunderstanding of what it's for, how it works, and things like that. I've talked to some seniors that just said, I don't want to do that. You don't even know what it is.
Right,
How do you
right.
know if it might be beneficial to you or not if you're not even giving me the opportunity to tell you what it is and how it works? Because I think in anything, as a broker, I like having the options of being able to, pretty much, I don't have a one size fits all business. My business is, okay, let me hear your individual situation and circumstance, and let's work, to put something together that addresses that. That's how we work with people. So, I mean, there are people I'm pretty sure I'm going to come across where a reverse mortgage would actually be a good decision. And others be like, well, you only need $7,000. We do this different. Just like with 203K. People say 203K loan, but why? You only gonna do $5,000 worth of repairs.
Work.
Why?
Mm.
If that's the case,
Mhm.
put aside a few $100s every month until you have so much saved up and do that, that update or repair later instead of taking a whole new loan. So I think it depends on what the end game is. Some seniors don't care. They know their kids and they like, look, I need this money. I'm about to do this. I don't care what happens with the house afterward because they ain't gonna take care of it no way. And so they like it doesn't make a difference to me. So a lot of times we think, oh, we're gonna lose the family house. You won't go do no with it no way. And grandma know that.
Correct. You say that, Lisa. Are the obligations you have to meet to have what are the obligations? Okay. So I see a question in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and answer that if you don't mind. Oh yeah, I see it. Yes, there are, and a reverse mortgage is an FHA mortgage. So one of the clients that I walked through that the same things you have to have if you're selling your house for an FHA loan. You can't have any peel and paint because they think it might be lead, so you got to scrape it and repaint it. You got to have GFI outlets. My senior, even though that was a house that she had lived in for 50 years, she had to make those repairs. They had someone come out to appraise her house, just like they would do if she was getting a regular FHA loan. And they gave us a list of repairs on her appraisal that she had to take care of. So absolutely, there are obligations that you have. And here's the thing. Your family doesn't have to do anything if they don't want to keep the house. They just turn the house over. Your family does not have to pay the reverse mortgage back, but they do have to purchase the house back if they want to keep the house.
If they want to keep it.
And
there's no limits on what they can do with the money, right? So once they pull it out, they could do whatever they want.
That's right. So what I would tell you, and Lisa made a good point, I have seniors who we hear people talk about nursing homes all the time and talking about we don't want to, that's a whole nother, I could be a whole nother WCW about nursing homes and how those impact homes. But the thing about that is, I'm sorry, some of my seniors use that money so they can stay in their home longer. And they say, you know what, if I have to go in a nursing home or assisted living facility, then there is a chance that there might be a Medicaid lien on my house, not to get too deep, or I might have to sell my house to be able to afford the nursing home or long-term care. But if I draw down from this reverse mortgage, I can make some improvements to my home to make it more comfortable for me to be able to stay there. And you all know better than I do that making improvements in the home will eventually help the value of the home. So if I take this reverse mortgage so that I can, again, build a ramp to the house, modernize, get some updated, get a new hot water heater, do some of those things, get my kitchen redone, get my bathroom redone. So if seniors are taking money for that kind of thing, it's more like an investment. Now, if they taking it to go to the boat, I don't know what to say about that.
We got another question.
If I'm a senior and my young husband is on the mortgage, can I get a reverse mortgage? You can't have a mortgage to have a reverse mortgage. So I guess I'm trying to understand what it is you're saying. And again, some of these mortgage questions would be better responded to by a mortgage broker. But let's be clear. Somebody said, is there an obligation to have a reverse mortgage? The first one is there can't be any debt on the house. You can't already have an existing mortgage. You have to have a house that is paid in full before you can even get a reverse mortgage. And it's my understanding, I believe that anybody who's on title to the house has to be a senior for you to have a reverse mortgage.
Yes.
It has to be a senior owned home. So if you got if you a cougar, you can get a reverse mortgage if you got your Cougar Bay. If you got your young cub on your mortgage, they can on your note. I don't think you can get a reverse mortgage.
If you're a cougar, you know not to have them on the mortgage, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Don't fall into that. You get
That's right. So the very first thing is you have to have your home paid off. And they look at your debts and stuff too. I mean, a reverse mortgage, Lisa told you she's a mortgage broker. This is even though you don't have to pay it back, it's called a mortgage for a reason. The lender is extending cash to you. And so there are some requirements. The seniors I work with, they had to turn in all their bills. They had to, just like they had to have their credit done if they were getting a conventional loan or FHA loan, they still had to go through that same process with their reverse mortgage.
Right. And do they ask them to pay out some of their bills too? They might make
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they make them pay down some of their bills as well, because they're evaluating them just like they would be evaluating any other borrower. Except one of the things that they're doing is they're making sure that one, they're a senior, and two, they don't owe any money on the house.
No.
And sometimes that's what some of the seniors are doing. They're using it to pay down some of their debts.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
But yes, they do a full credit evaluation on them. Like I said, they do an appraisal on the house. And
right.
so all of those things happen.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Any more questions out there for us?
Like I said, I
This,
would recommend, like I said, have the discussion. Have the discussion with your seniors. And again, I love what Lisa said. There's not any one size fits all. So don't
uh-uh.
just throw in your tile. If you're a family member there and you've heard that your mom or your dad has a reverse mortgage and they left a house to you, or if you're a realtor or an agent and someone comes to you and they say, "Hey, my mom and dad have a reverse mortgage," don't just automatically tell them, "Oh, forget about it." You might as well just
Right.
tell the reverse mortgage people and take that house back. Sometimes you
Mm.
might have to be creative, and sometimes you really do have to dig a little bit deeper in their situation to see if it makes sense for them to still proceed with, doing the 95% air purchase. One thing you definitely want to do though, and this, if there's people who live in at home, you definitely, other than the senior, you definitely need to make sure you know if there's a reverse mortgage.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Well, whew, let's see.
How long do I have to purchase the home? That's a great question. You're supposed to get all this wrapped up within a year of them passing away. That is an excellent
Yeah.
question. So you're supposed to reach out to the reverse mortgage company right away to let them know that the senior has passed away. And then you have to let the reverse mortgage company know what your intentions are to the property. Are you going to try to keep it? Do you want to sell it? You certainly have a right to change your mind, but they want to
Mhm.
know what your intentions are. And you're supposed to get that completed within a year. They certainly will give you extensions if you're working toward that, but you do need to let them know, and it's supposed to be wound down.
Right.
Also, this is a topic for another day too, but um, sometimes people don't leave houses to people because they have a reverse mortgage. And they say, I'm an estate planning attorney. So they'll say, "Oh, I'm not going to leave this house in my trust to my kids because it has a reverse mortgage on it." Well, now you've just increased the cost of trying to transfer this house if they want to keep it. Because if you didn't leave the house, you didn't leave them as an owner to the house, they might have to go to probate court to even get ownership of the house or to get authority to pay the 95% to keep the house.
Oh
So
Okay.
wow. So I didn't know that.
yeah, if you're not on title to the house, then the reverse
Mhm.
mortgage companies may say you need to go to probate court and get letters of office. Most of the probates that I have open for those are for homes that the family wants to retain it, but they didn't get the home left to them. And the
Wow.
reverse mortgage company is going to need to see some proof that Dion is the person who they're supposed to be taking the 95% from.
Okay. So then, so how does the parent? Yeah, this is supposed to be another water cooler wizard, but how does the parent leave proof of that you should get the home?
They got to do estate planning. So they need to make sure that they set up. I would not, we'll talk more about estate planning on another day if you want to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
typically they would
That'd
put
be
the
a good
house in a
subject
trust.
matter.
They would put the house in a trust and say that they're leaving the home to you. So that because what's going to happen, the first thing the reverse
So
mortgage
they can
company,
still do that even though it's in a reverse mortgage?
you can leave a house that's encumbered to somebody. You can leave a house with a mortgage to somebody. A reverse mortgage doesn't make it any different. They can leave it
Okay.
to you and you can take it or not take it. You
Okay.
could say, "I'm going to give it back to the reverse mortgage company because I don't want to pay the 95%." Or you can say, "Yes, I want to work with them to keep it."
Okay.
So, one of the things I would say to you, I lost my train of thought that quick. Look at that.
Oh, I'm
Getting young.
sorry.
They talking about the seniors. I just had a senior it'll come back to me though. But oh, I was gonna say before the reverse mortgage company will work with you, they will tell you you need to show them proof that you are successor in interest to the home. So,
Okay.
because you might have three siblings and you all might be all over the place about the home. And so if the house has not been left to you outright, you may have to go to probate court to get court papers to give to tender to the reverse mortgage people before they'll even talk to you about the house.
Okay. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty enlightening. I didn't know that part. I didn't
Yeah.
know
I
Right.
that
mean,
that's how
anybody
that
who has a
works.
mortgage on their house, if they want to leave it to somebody, this is the little tip. You should put it in a trust. Because if you don't, if they want to
Mhm.
keep the house, they're gonna wind up in probate court. not about whether or not they own the house, but whether or not who's supposed to pay the mortgage back.
Well, I don't know a lot about estate planning, but I do know that a living trust, like a trust, is going to be better than you trying to do a will. So
Yeah. A will makes you go to probate court. And again, if
yeah,
you're leaving a house to someone and you put it in a trust, if there's still a mortgage left on it, they'll have the opportunity and the ability to talk to the mortgage company. If you have not left the house to them in that way, a lot of families, you hear that, you've heard this on the radio. I'm sure some of the law firms or whatever are advertising now. If your name is not on the mortgage, you can't even talk to the lender about how much is owed. I have plenty of clients like that they know their mom or dad has a reverse mortgage, or they think they do, but they don't have any details of it, and they don't have a right to the details because they're not
yeah,
entitled to the property.
Wow. Okay.
Hate for you to spend $5,000 in probate and still not be able to get the house because you
Right.
didn't have any information until you went to probate court. So
Okay.
yeah. Good advice, Julie.
Right. We know we talk real estate, but we also got to talk about the seniors, you know.
right. A lot of my people who are selling and downsizing, they're seniors. And they're
Mhm.
moving into other homes or moving in with the kids or doing whatever. So I have a large percentage of my real estate transactions that I work on because I sub specialize in elder law for seniors. So it's still seniors out there selling and buying, y'all. So don't be prejudiced against them and say, I ain't gonna talk to that little old lady. She might be selling that big house and buying her little condo somewhere. So you might
That's
get you a
so
2-for-1. You might get you a buy sale out of that little old lady.
All right. If you say so, but I'm just gonna kind of do like this.
Yeah.
true.
Everybody is not about that senior life, so I get it, Dion.
We've had some wonderful seniors.
Correct.
Oh, we have. Yes, we have.
so we work with everyone, all ages.
There
So
you
as
go.
long as you have, you're able, we're here and available for you.
That's right. That's right.
Right. So,
Well,
all right,
this
guys. Well,
was
it's
great, Julie. We really appreciate all the information. Was awesome. I had a couple of eye-opening moments, know.
Right.
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 And that's good. We like being able to learn more stuff and kind of expand, for
Okay.
us as our businesses, as we help our customers and, just being able to interact and provide more value for people. So we really thank you so much for
Well,
being able
thank
to
you.
come on and share with us
And
tonight.
thank you all for wanting to get the information out, because more and more I'm seeing and hearing about reverse mortgages, and they have a lot of mystery surrounding them, and they have a lot of
Yeah.
negativity surrounding them. And I opened up saying I was one of those people. And in
Yeah.
some situations, they really do make sense. And again, in some
Mhm.
situations, there's still some value to be left for their family. So we don't just give up the ship. We figure out if there's some creative ways we can still do some things.
Mhm. Amen to that.
All
Right.
right, ladies.
All
Well,
right,
thank
guys.
you for your questions and thank you for the invitation. And I'm available if you want something more about estate planning or some other things. I see a whole lot over here in this law office.
Right before we go, this is Julie Jones. This is her phone number if you need to ask her any questions. And here is her email address. So if you have any questions for Attorney Jones, she's definitely here for you. As she told you, she's also works with us for seniors or estate planning.
Elder
Estate
law,
planning
estate planning.
for everybody. You don't have to wait to be a senior to get that estate planning done. So
Right, right. So here you go. We always want to make sure we share you something with you, so fill your water cup up, right?
you
All
Was
right,
full
guys.
tonight. Was
Thank
full
you.
have a
tonight.
good evening.
All right, bye.